I'm Jackie Ritter. I work with O'Shea Builders. We're a construction management company. I am a project engineer here. So we oversee the construction process, manage all of the subcontractors, and work with the client. So we have plumbers, electricians, carpenters, all the typical trades on site. In my particular role, I assist the project manager. We're really responsible for making sure that we're staying on schedule, that we're keeping a close eye on the budget. If there's issues that arise on site, we have a site supervisor that helps deal with those on the spot, but also we get involved if there's additional costs or if there's issues that need to go back to the client. There's a lot of coordination between the trades that happens. So if we have conflicts with drawings or if something's reflected in one set but not another, that is something that we help with. We also hold meetings with different stakeholders. So not only making sure that our end client is happy and is getting the product that they expect, but sometimes going in front of their board to help justify, maybe additional costs that are needed or explain issues that came up, especially when you're working in an existing building. Some of the key things that would be needed for this job, in my particular role or with a project manager, we do look for a college education, ideally something that has architectural training or they actually have degrees in construction management. However, a lot of the guys on site are from the trades, so they do not have the formal college education. Instead, they often sign up with a different union who pays for their education, which is a pretty smart deal. And then the site supervisors are typically people that used to be in the field and worked their way up to becoming a supervisor. Some of the perks of working for a construction company in general are that you're not trapped in an office. You get to be in a lovely wood panel trailer. But you do get out on the site all the time. You're walking around, you're interacting with people, you get to be indoors and outdoors. So if it's a nice day out, you actually get to spend some time outside instead of looking longingly out your window. And you get to interact with all different kinds of people. So every day you're talking to easily 100 individuals and all kinds of different folks. So having a diverse skill set in terms of being able to relate to individuals, to communicate effectively, to be very clear with instructions because each person is going to respond differently to that. Those are really important things for anybody working in construction in general, but especially if you're on that project management side of things. Some of the downsides are, especially in the project management roles, you do have to deliver a lot of bad news. So sometimes you have to let clients know that something is not going to be completed according to the original schedule or that there are additional costs. Also, you're keeping a close eye on the contractors and sometimes delivering bad news to them that they may have to redo work or that they don't have something covered under their current contract. So you have to be prepared to have those difficult conversations and again, to do so very effectively. I really highly encourage anybody who's interested to try it because a lot of schools offer programs where you can actually go out and try doing some of the trades yourself. Salary ranges really vary for my particular position. It just depends on the kind of company that you're working for, but project management as a whole could be anywhere from $60,000 a year to $140,000 a year. With the trades, so if anybody's interested in going that route, again, you come out of school, you immediately go to work and you start earning a pretty high dollar per hour rate, and then they pay for your education and spend the time to send you to that so you don't have to do that in the evenings either. So construction is pretty lucrative from that standpoint. So my background actually is in architecture. I pursued a degree in that and then quickly realized I did not want to sit behind a desk just doing CAD or drafting all day. And I have a background in remodeling homes, so I became interested in working for a company where I could put some of that skill set to use, but also, again, be in the field, be there in person, getting my hands as dirty as a PE's hands get. And I think that a lot of people that end up in construction, it is kind of like a family background, or there's been some kind of interest developed when you were younger like that. Currently, O'Shea is working at both Central and Centennial high schools here in town. We're remodeling both schools, so you may have seen us around. Not only are we remodeling the existing buildings, so going in and in some cases tearing out walls and putting in entirely new electrical, mechanical, and heating systems. Sometimes just updating a room with new finishes, new casework, paint, flooring, ceilings, things like that. But we're also putting up some pretty large additions at both. So brand new state-of-the-art science rooms, new gymnasiums, new weight rooms, and CTE classrooms. So those spaces are a little more exciting because they're a little more complex. Instead of just being 4 walls with some finishes, you actually get into some pretty unique mechanical systems. You learn a lot about very specific equipment being used in those spaces. Learned a lot about welding on this job. And we also have done some of the ball fields in town. So there's the Tommy Stewart football field behind Centennial. There's McKinley Park, and then there will be another one for Central High School as well. So again, another unique experience where you're working predominantly outdoors with track and field and all kinds of new surfaces we have not dealt with a lot in the past. Our company is based out of Springfield though, and the projects there, we are predominantly working in the healthcare and education realms, but we get into a little bit of everything, and that includes even repairing a brick sidewalk or a brick street in town, or doing bridge work and outdoor parking structures. So it's a wide range of projects, which is one of the perks of working in construction as a whole, is every project is a little different. But beyond that, where you're working, each site is very different. So there's not a same old in this business. Construction does not just happen in summer, despite what we may wish. Oftentimes it's a race to get a building started as soon as you can in the spring. So the minute that the rain stops long enough to get a foundation in, we are all ready and on site for that. And then it's a race to get the walls up, a roof on, and get it weatherproofed before winter hits, because as soon as that cold weather comes, it's going to shut down a job. So currently we have an addition going up at Centennial, and we've had to temp in some openings, which just means hanging up some plastic until we get the windows or storefronts in. But everything is a rush so that those guys inside can keep working. We have electricians, mechanical contractors, drywallers. None of them can work very well in the cold, nor do they want to. But then you also have trades where that is kind of their busy time. So we have insulators up on the roof that are trying to get to that in between the heat of summer and the cold of winter. And then there's the landscapers who definitely do get shut down in the winter. So it is a big race during the summer months. They're probably our busiest time, but that construction does happen throughout the year. One of the things that we do in construction is we're dealing with a lot of drawings that are provided by the architects and the engineers. So right here you can see our plan table, and we have a very large set of the prints that are always out. So for quick reference, we can come in here, look at, hey, this wall needs to be located in this location, or here's this wall construction method. We're trying to go digital, which the whole industry is doing a better job of, hence the large screens that you'll find around the sites now. But I think everybody still relies a little bit on the physical ones. So again, these would be provided by the architects at the start of the job. This is what the contractors use to bid a project. This is what we call the Bible, because everything comes back to it and everything is based on these drawings. And then throughout the course of the project, changes are made. So you'll see markups on a drawing where maybe a building method changed, or a wall had to shift to avoid some underground piping. And we continually mark these up, but we also mark up that digital copy because, again, at the end of the project, that's what we want to turn over to a client, is a nice, clean digital copy, as opposed to these very torn pages. But being the construction manager, we do have all the trades popping in the trailer constantly. It's part of those 100 conversations a day that we have, where somebody comes in needing a little direction. And so learning to read the prints is a pretty important skill set. It's definitely something where, again, for the project management side of things, having that architectural or construction management background is critical, because reading prints is not just a natural skill set. Just like a carpenter has his tool belt with his tape measure and his putty knife and so forth, the things that you'll always find with the project managers is an iPad with a full set of drawings. We're heavily reliant on that, and emails. A phone is glued into our hands because you're constantly calling somebody for asking for direction, having an architect come out to look at a countertop to see if it passes, or calling a client to confirm that they're okay with the small change that's being made, or getting a hold of contractors to get them on site when needed. So really those are our primary tools, and having a really good memory and ability to recall is a huge bonus for anybody looking to go into construction management, because having that memory at your disposal is the most useful thing that you can have. So if you're interested in construction management, one of the things you can do early on is a lot of schools offer some kind of CAD program or another drafting program. I would recommend looking into those because, again, it's going to teach you how to read plans. Better than that, it's going to teach you how to create them. So it becomes much more intuitive where to find things and just understanding how that job is done. They don't, as of right now, have any courses that are more specific to construction. If you're more interested in doing things hands-on, obviously like a wood shop or any other CTE program would be useful. I would say an interest in math is probably helpful, but more than that, I think most people I know in this particular trade, if you're really good at PM work or the PE work, you have a very inquisitive mind and you like to be a detective, because people are bringing a problem to you that is an absolute needle in a haystack. And so being able to cull through the drawings very quickly and know where to go, or to have a strong interest in being able to drill down on tiny details. You are serving as a detective every day. You're looking for that tiny clue that nobody else could find, hence them coming to you. I mentioned that a college education is preferred for these particular roles. So it's not typically something that you will leave high school and go straight into. However, there are a lot of great internship programs. So either while you're in college, or if you are able to find another large construction company like O'Shea, they're all over. We're constantly looking for people that are very interested, want to come work for the summer, experience the job, see if it's something that they'd really want to do, and build that relationship so that perhaps when they get out of college, we have our next PE ready and at our disposal. The way it typically works too is once you were to graduate or once you were to enter this field, you start out as the project engineer or a PE. And then after doing that for many years and building your skill set and your understanding of all the trades, then you typically move up into project manager. From there, it goes into senior project manager or manager of that department. So there's always a place to grow, which is really nice.